Imagine this. You're sitting at your desk, a mountain of tasks waiting, deadlines breathing down your neck. You open your laptop determined to start, but your mind feels like a restless crowd at rush hour. Thoughts pull you in every direction. Emails you forgot, the message you need to reply to, the vague anxiety that you should be doing something else entirely. You stare at the screen, but nothing happens. You scroll, you sigh, you maybe even reach for your phone, and before you know it, another 20 minutes are gone. Sound familiar? That's not laziness. That's not even procrastination in the classic sense. That's your brain drowning in noise, scattered, fragmented, unable to land on one clear point of focus. And here's the truth. You don't need hours of discipline or a perfect environment to bring your mind back. You need 60 seconds. Just 1 minute strategically used can shift your entire mental state from chaos to clarity. Today, I'm going to show you how. Not a list of tips, not vague advice, but a single clear framework, what I call the 60-second rule of concentration. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to reset your brain in the middle of the day, anytime, anywhere. And once you experience it, you'll never look at concentration the same way again. So what is this rule? At its core, it's built around a simple insight. The brain works like a compass needle. When you shake it, it spins wildly. But give it a moment of stillness, and it always finds north. The 60-second rule is about creating that moment of stillness for your own attention, so that it can point itself back to what matters. To understand how it works, let's break it into 3 stages, 3 movements of the mind, all of which fit neatly into just 1 minute. Think of it as a reset ritual: release, breathe, redirect. Let's go deeper into each of these. First, release. The biggest enemy of focus isn't distraction itself. It's the invisible tension we carry from all the unfinished tasks swirling in our heads. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik Effect. Your brain hates loose ends, so it keeps nudging you with little reminders, even when you're trying to work on something else. That's why you can't concentrate. Your mental desk is cluttered with dozens of open tabs. The first step of the rule is to release that clutter. How? Simple. Take 20 seconds to do a brain dump. You don't need a journal, just a scrap of paper or even the Notes app on your phone. Write down every thought that's nagging you, every I should or don't forget. Don't analyze it, don't organize it, just dump it. In those 20 seconds, you're telling your brain, relax, nothing will be lost, it's captured. The moment it knows that, the pressure eases. Already you're halfway back to focus. Second, breathe. This is where the magic happens. The human nervous system has 2 gears, sympathetic, which is fight or flight, and parasympathetic, which is calm and present. When you're scattered, your body is in overdrive, even if you don't notice it. The quickest way to flip that switch is with your breath. Neuroscience gives us the tool, the physiological sigh. It's a pattern discovered in sleep labs and stress research. You inhale deeply, then without exhaling fully, you take 1 more short sip of air. Then you exhale slowly, completely. This double inhale followed by a long exhale is like a reset button for the nervous system. In 30 seconds, about 3 to 4 cycles, you'll feel your heart rate slow, your shoulders drop, your mind clear. It's not mystical, it's biology. You are literally changing your body's state, which is the foundation of changing your mental state. Third, redirect. Now that you've released the clutter and calmed the system, the last 10 seconds are about pointing your freshly reset attention where it matters. This is where most people fail. They try to jump straight into the task without aligning their compass. But remember, attention is directional. You need to set a target. So you ask yourself one question. If I could only do one thing in the next 10 minutes, what would it be? Not in the next day, not in the next hour, just 10 minutes. By narrowing the scope, you cut through overwhelm. Suddenly, the impossible mountain of tasks shrinks to a single clear step, and your brain, now freed and calmed, can actually lock onto it. Release, breathe, redirect, 60 seconds total. That's the rule. Simple enough to remember, powerful enough to transform your ability to concentrate. But let me walk you through why this framework works so reliably and why skipping any part of it weakens the whole. Think about release. Without this step, you try to focus while juggling invisible reminders. It's like trying to write an email while 10 pop-ups keep flashing on your screen. You may push through for a while, but the quality of your focus is thin, fragile, constantly pulled away. That's why so many people blame themselves for lack of discipline, when in reality, they're just trying to focus with a cluttered mental environment. Once you offload those thoughts, your mind stops whispering at you. It's a relief you can feel almost instantly. Now consider breathe. This is the bridge between intention and biology. You can tell yourself focus now all day long, but if your nervous system is stuck in stress mode, it's like shouting at a speeding car to stop. Breathing, specifically the physiological sigh, taps into the one system you can consciously control that has direct access to your stress response. It's like pulling the emergency brake on runaway thoughts. You may not notice just how much tension you've been carrying until you try it, and suddenly there's space inside your own mind again. Finally, redirect. This is the step that turns clarity into action. Without it, you might feel calm but directionless, a kind of pleasant emptiness. The power of this stage is that it harnesses your freshly reset mind and gives it one precise landing point. The 10-minute window is key here. Why not longer? Because the brain resists vague, open-ended commitments. Work on the project feels endless. Do 10 focused minutes on the first paragraph feels doable. Ironically, once you start, those 10 minutes often stretch into 30 or 60. But the entry point is easy. That's the psychology of momentum. Small doors open into big rooms. Now let's tie this all together. The 60-second rule isn't just about concentration. It's about agency. It's about proving to yourself that you're not at the mercy of your distractions or your mood. You don't need to wait for motivation. You don't need to fix your entire environment. In 1 minute, you can reset and choose where your attention goes. And the more often you practice it, the faster your brain learns the pattern. Eventually, the ritual becomes automatic. Release the clutter, breathe into calm, redirect to what matters. It becomes your go-to switch from scattered to focused, anywhere, anytime. But I know what you might be thinking. Can it really be that simple? Just 1 minute? Let me share with you what the science says. Studies on attention restoration show that even micro breaks, pauses shorter than 2 minutes, can significantly restore cognitive performance, especially if they involve a shift in breathing or sensory state. Neuroscience also shows that our focus operates in cycles of about 90 minutes, but within those cycles, our concentration rises and falls. What makes the difference isn't eliminating every dip, but knowing how to reset when the dip arrives. That's where the 60-second rule becomes a superpower. It's not about avoiding distraction forever, it's about recovering quickly when it happens. Think of it this way. Professional athletes don't avoid mistakes, they master recovery. A tennis player doesn't play a perfect game without errors. What makes them elite is how fast they reset after a missed shot. Your mind works the same way. Distractions and dips are inevitable. The question is, how fast can you bring yourself back? With this 1-minute ritual, your recovery time shrinks from half an hour of lost scrolling to 60 seconds of deliberate reset. Multiply that by a day, and you reclaim hours of high-quality focus that would otherwise be wasted. And here's something important. This isn't a trick that works only in quiet, ideal conditions. It's designed for real life. You can do it at your desk, in a crowded cafe, even in the middle of a stressful meeting. All you need is 1 minute, your breath, and something to jot notes on. That universality is why it's so powerful. It doesn't depend on willpower, it depends on structure. And structure always beats chaos. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you feel your focus slipping, don't reach for your phone. Don't berate yourself for being lazy. Don't try to bulldoze your way through with brute force. Instead, pause for 60 seconds. Release, breathe, redirect. Notice how your mind shifts, how your body eases, how the task in front of you suddenly feels possible. That's the power of using time not as an enemy, but as a tool. 60 seconds may not sound like much, but it can change the quality of the next 60 minutes. And now that you understand the mechanics, let's look at how you can integrate this into your day without overthinking. Because knowing the rule is one thing, making it a habit is where the real transformation happens. The easiest way to make the 60-second rule stick is to anchor it to the exact moments when you need it most. Think about the cues that usually signal you're losing focus. When you find yourself rereading the same sentence 3 times, when you've switched tabs without meaning to, or when you suddenly realize you've scrolled through your phone for no reason. These aren't failures, they're signals. They're your reminder that it's time to pause, not push. This is where the ritual becomes powerful. Instead of spiraling into guilt or frustration, you now have a reliable response, 60 seconds to reset. Over time, your brain starts to associate those signals with the reset itself. What used to be the beginning of a distraction loop becomes the trigger for clarity. And here's the thing, this ritual is not just a tool for productivity, it's also a tool for peace of mind. Many people live in a constant background hum of mental noise, moving from one task to another without ever feeling fully present. The 60-second rule interrupts that autopilot. It reintroduces agency into your day. Imagine a typical afternoon slump where your energy dips and your motivation collapses. Normally, that slump could waste an hour. But if you take that exact moment to pause, jot down your thoughts, breathe deeply, and redirect to just one small action, you don't just save time, you also reclaim your sense of control. And control over attention is, in many ways, control over life. Now you might wonder, what if I'm in a situation where I can't stop for a whole minute? The truth is, even the smallest fragment of this ritual helps. Maybe you only have 30 seconds. You can still take 2 or 3 physiological sighs, and that alone will calm your system enough to sharpen your focus. Maybe you only have 15 seconds, then at least ask yourself the redirection question. What's the single most important thing for the next 10 minutes? The full ritual is optimal, but even the smallest piece of it carries disproportionate benefits. It's not an all-or-nothing practice, it's a spectrum, and any amount you do moves you toward clarity. Let's connect this to the bigger picture of how your brain works. Modern life bombards us with stimuli far beyond what our ancestors experienced. Notifications, constant choice, information overload, all of it fragments our attention. Yet our brains are still wired for a much simpler environment. That's why focus feels so fragile today. The 60-second rule is like a bridge between the ancient design of your brain and the demands of the modern world. It gives your nervous system the pause it desperately needs, so you can meet those demands without burning out. It's a practice of respecting your biology rather than fighting it. There's another hidden benefit here too. Every time you practice the rule, you strengthen what neuroscientists call meta-attention, the ability to notice where your focus is and to shift it intentionally. Most people live reactively, pulled from one thing to another without even realizing it. But when you practice release, breathe, redirect, you're exercising the muscle of awareness. You're teaching your mind, I can observe my state, I can change it, I can choose where to place my attention. That awareness doesn't just help with work, it improves conversations, decision-making, even your ability to enjoy the present moment. It turns you from a passenger in your own mind into the driver. Now let me make this even more practical. Here's a simple way to build the 60-second rule into your day. Stack it on top of an existing routine. For example, before you open your email, take 60 seconds to reset. Before you join a meeting, 60 seconds. Before you dive into a big task, 60 seconds. These transitions are perfect anchor points because they're natural pauses anyway. Over time, you won't even have to think about it. It'll become second nature. I want you to imagine tomorrow morning. You wake up, grab your coffee, sit down at your desk. Instead of diving straight into the whirlwind, you pause. You take 1 minute. You jot down the mental clutter, you breathe with intention, you point yourself at the one task that matters. Suddenly, the day feels different. You're not chasing your thoughts, you're leading them. And that difference compounds. 1 minute doesn't just save 1 minute. It changes the next hour, the next task, the entire trajectory of your day. You might think, can something this small really make a lasting impact? And that's the beauty of it. The human brain thrives on micro-interventions that ripple outward. A tiny change in state creates momentum. You don't need to reinvent your life overnight. You just need to master the art of returning again and again to what matters. That's the promise of the 60-second rule. It doesn't ask you to be perfect, it just gives you a reliable path back. So here's my invitation to you. Test it today. The very next time you feel your focus slipping, resist the urge to scold yourself or drown in distraction. Instead, take 60 seconds, release, breathe, redirect. Watch how it changes the way you feel and how you work. Do it once and you'll notice the shift. Do it a few times and it will become your natural response. And as it becomes natural, you'll realize something profound. Concentration is not a mysterious talent that some people have and others don't. It's a skill. It's a choice. And with the right structure, it's a choice you can make in 1 minute, whenever you need it. Remember this, every day your attention is your most valuable currency. Where it goes, your life goes. You can either let it scatter across 1,000 distractions or you can reclaim it, 1 minute at a time. That is the true power of the 60-second rule. So don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect environment. Take 60 seconds now and see how much stronger, calmer, and more focused your mind can become. The next chapter of your productivity and your peace starts in 1 minute, if you choose it.